Ladies and gentlemen, we have a huge update today on horror movies. We got some crazy announcements from CinemaCon in Las Vegas this past week. Let's talk about it all. Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. I'm KillJoy Jake and you're not. Today we are talking about a bunch of crazy updates. If it's the scary movie franchise coming back to life 28 years later, Blumhouse's new Blair Witch project, so much more. Oh my god, I can't even take it. My head is going to explode. There's so much horror news. So just to get this out of the way, let's talk about some brand new release dates for upcoming horror movies, some that even got pushed. While The Strangers Chapter 1 comes out in a month here now, Chapter 2 is expected to release this fall, with Chapter 3 seemingly coming out maybe next spring in 2025. That is a much better release schedule in my opinion versus what a lot of us were speculating that they were going to do, just drop one in the spring, the summer, and the fall. That would have just been way too many strangers in my opinion. This is going to be a much better way to do it, especially considering that all three of these movies were filmed back to back to back. Gives them a little more time to smooth out those rough edges and give us something that's really worth our time. Rennie Harlan also confirmed at CinemaCon that no, The Strangers Chapter 1 is not a remake of the original film. This will 100% be its own thing, despite what that trailer kind of looks like. God, I hope he's telling the truth, because oh my god, that trailer was just made up of a lot of references to that first movie, dude. Your boy is nervous going into this one, but I hope it's good. Probably the most expected release date on this entire list is Five Nights at Freddy's 2, coming out in fall of 2025. Nobody was expecting a different release date for that film. Of course it's going to be the big October release for Blumhouse. The Crow reboot that many seem to be up in arms about just got pushed to August 23rd of this year. And the one that breaks my heart the most is that Saw 11 has been pushed to September 26th of next year. After Saw X, I am foaming at the mouth for another Saw film. That was such a blast. What a way to reinvent your franchise by showing us this weird little side quest that Jigsaw went on during the events of 1, 2, and 3. It sucks that we're not going to see the movie this year, but it does make a lot of sense considering that they're still in the development phase. I would rather them just take their time with Saw 11, make this thing something just as good as Saw X. Don't just pump out a movie to pump it out. Make something good, then release it, and we'll all fucking love it, and it will make money. We need to keep saying that because studios like to just rush something out as fast as they can sometimes. So good on you, Saw 11. You might have broke my heart a little bit, but with purpose. Getting into some bigger updates here, Scary Movie 6 has finally been announced. You heard me, ladies and gentlemen, finally. Ever since Scream 5 got announced, I have been waiting for this announcement. I knew it was coming. Come on now. Scary Movie 6 was inevitable. While this is exciting, the question still remains, can they make a scary movie film in the modern day? What I will say in the meantime though is that I think jokes are jokes, and if you're just not crazy about these kinds of jokes, don't watch it. Humor sometimes has to push some limits to be funny. Will this movie go down the safe route and just not be funny, or will it actually try to tell some jokes? We'll just have to see. Either way, I'm gonna be watching, because I gotta know if this is a shit show or not. Big video coming soon on this one. A very exciting announcement came about the 28 Years Later trilogy that's being planned right now. You may remember a little while ago, it was announced that 28 Years Later would be happening with Danny Boyle directing and Alex Garland writing, the same team that made the original film. These two are incredible filmmakers and an absolute powerhouse when working together. That's what makes 28 Days Later one of the best zombie films ever made. I'll die on that hill. But now they're coming together to make 3 new 28 Days Later movies, the first one titled 28 Years Later. And the big update today is that Nia DaCosta, director of Candyman from 2021, is in talks to direct the second film in this planned trilogy. Nia DaCosta may come off as a strange choice for a zombie movie, but I absolutely loved Candyman 2021. It is one of the better requel films out there in a very subpar C. You might remember that DaCosta was under fire for some weird controversy coming out about the Marvels, but that was a bunch of BS. Nia left post-production for the Marvels to go work on another project with Tessa Thompson, but this was something that the studio already knew about, and for whatever reason was a big controversy. Besides that very weird and seemingly defaming story about her, I've heard nothing but good things about Nia DaCosta. She seems like an excellent person to work with. And let's be honest, man, the studio is directing those Marvel movies at this point. I'm just happy that Nia DaCosta got her healthcare paid for. If you're actually curious to learn a little more about what Nia DaCosta's directing style is like, watch Candyman 2021. Don't watch the Marvels. That will give you a much better idea of what she's capable of versus a very bland and gray Marvel film. I'm really excited to see what Nia does with running zombies. This is gonna be a lot of fun, dude. This is a whole subgenre of horror we've never seen this director tackle yet. Ya boy will be seated. One of the weirder updates to come out of CinemaCon is that Blumhouse and Lionsgate will be teaming up to make a new The Blair Witch Project Project film. Let's talk a little bit about that. This should come as absolutely no surprise, but Blumhouse is planning on making probably 3 of these motherfuckers. It's the first film in a multi-picture pact with Blumhouse reimagining horror classics from the Lionsgate library. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard this before, and oh my god, rarely does it work. There are a lot of horror franchises that I think can go on forever. Most of them are slasher franchises, though. The Blair Witch Project from 1999 is one of those standalone movies that will simply never happen again. It took advantage of the very primitive state of the internet at that time to fool people into thinking that all of that was real. And the best part about the movie is that there's nothing in it that really confirms or denies that. You never actually see the witch on screen, so were they being killed by that, or was it someone in the woods going absolutely fucking nuts? Well, that's up to you to decide. The 2 continuations that we have in the Blair Witch franchise at this point in time tried to deviate and do something else with the franchise, but kind of failed for modern audiences. Me personally, I actually really enjoyed 2016's Blair Witch, but I totally get why fans of the original are not crazy about that movie. It is much more so a narrative-driven found footage flick, opposed to the original that feels like something you would have actually found in the woods somewhere. Those are 2 very different things in my mind. Because it would be simply impossible to trick people into thinking that this is all real again and not everyone's going to suspend their disbelief for a found footage flick, I genuinely think the best case scenario moving forward is just to make a really good narrative-driven found footage flick, which I know fans of the original Blair Witch Project don't want to hear. I promise you though, whatever this ends up being, it's going to be much closer to 2016's Blair Witch versus the original 1999 film. So I just don't know how I feel about this announcement. As a big fan of found footage, I'm excited to be getting like a very big, like probably high budget found footage flick like this. That's gonna be fun. But is this going to be a good Blair Witch Project movie? I would probably say no. I guess it really just depends on what you care about here. Do you want a good found footage flick, or do you want another good The Blair Witch Project movie? There is a difference, I promise you. Smile 2 had one of the biggest updates at CinemaCon, where they actually showed footage from the upcoming sequel. Unfortunately for the rest of us who weren't able to make it to the event though, it's not going to be released online. Well, yet. Thankfully, Slash Film has recapped some of the footage we were able to see. Let's talk about that description real quick here. Slash Film describes this update as the teaser footage for Smile 2 that played at CinemaCon 2024 was focused on the new character played by Naomi Scott, a music celeb whose glamorous world is about to get dragged to hell. After a few glimpses of her pop star performances, the footage showed Scott's character getting a shock when a man, played by Lucas Gage, breaks into her dressing room and smiles creepily at her. Elsewhere in the footage, she is confronted by a kid with braces who flashes her a similar malevolent smile. So besides learning about some of the scare sequences in Smile 2, we did learn a little bit about our characters in the upcoming sequel. Naomi Scott, for instance, is some kind of pop star who's afflicted by the same situation as Sosie Bacon's character in the first movie, and Lucas Gage seems to already be down the line, smiling all creepy, probably going to attack Naomi Scott or, you know, put a dead cat in a box, something like that. Smile 2 hits theaters this fall on October 18th, and honestly, I'm really excited for it. Many people criticize the original Smile for being too similar to some films we got in the thousands and the early 2010s, like The Ring, Drag Me to Hell, It Follows, movies like that. It follows a very similar format. But the film really won me over with its unique style. It's a completely different movie in terms of feeling versus those other films, even if it does flow through a similar journey. I will admit though, if the characters weren't so strong, if the scare sequences weren't so gross, if the practical effects at the ending weren't so good, I probably would have absolutely hated Smile, but I'm glad that it stands on its own. I'm excited to see where this franchise goes next, hopefully into some uncharted plot territory following a different format this time around. And finally, I want to recap some sporadic updates we've had for Terrifier 3 in the past week, including this hilarious picture of Lauren Lavera, technically our first image of Sienna in this flick. Ladies and gentlemen, if that's not a 10 out of 10 performance, I don't know what is. An even more exciting picture we just got from Fuzz on the Lens, one of the many companies working on this flick though, is this disgusting bloody ceiling pic. Arthur, what are you doing, dude? You got blood all over the ceiling, man. Keeping my fingers crossed that this is a Scanners-style head explosion. Let's hope. We've also just learned that Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting are re-teaming with Iconic Events Releasing to put out Terrifier 3 in theaters. This is the same situation that we got for Terrifier 2 in 2022. It makes a lot of sense that we're doing that with T3 now. They put this out at CinemaCon alongside the announcement that the film is wrapping up in New Jersey, but they're not done yet. Don't ask how I know that. I think they got to do like some reshoots or something, but like principal photography is pretty much over. The absolute biggest update we've gotten on Terrifier 3 is something that literally happened moments before I started this recording. Bloody Disgusting put out a very ominous tweet about a secret cast member in the film. Over on Bloody Disgusting's Twitter account, they recently put out the latest actor to join the cast of Terrifier 3 3 is no stranger to iconic horror franchises. He's been in several of them, including Halloween. When I first saw this tweet, I thought, oh, maybe it could be Brad Dourif, voice of Chucky, the Gemini Killer in The Exorcist 3, and of course, Sheriff Brackett in the Rob Zombie Halloween remake. I ended up being close because we got yet another update as I was making this video, because Daniel Roebuck is actually going to be our Santa Claus in Terrifier 3. To Halloween fans, Daniel Roebuck is best known as the sleazy rabbit in red club owner, Big Lou. Daniel tells Bloody Disgusting, "I've been holding this secret for a long time. I've been really excited about it. I'm actually entering into the movies that I watch. It's extraordinary. This is Terrifier, bigger, badder, best." Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying it for a while now, but I believe it is Daniel who is going to get his face sawn off and costume stolen by old Art the Clown. Jolly old Saint Nick won't be jolly for too long now. I'm also excited to see Daniel in Michael Levy's upcoming film, Stream, another film that Terrifier fans should keep on their radar. Also coming from CinemaCon, apparently Stream is getting a theatrical release sometime before Terrifier 3. So if you're a fan of the Terrifier franchise, you might want to give this one a try. It looks like the start of a brand new slasher franchise that I'm sure is gonna kick ass. That pretty much concludes the horror updates. If you want to stick around and hear about my bullshit, well, hang out, or don't, I don't care. So ladies and gentlemen, I promised you an update on what the hell is going on with this page. Well, here's the deal. I'm working on a short film right now that we are slowly going into production for. We should be filming in a week from today. With that, I'm probably not going to be putting out too many videos this month. I want to focus on this short film and make it the best it can be. This is a killer script that me and my buddy Connor Caligaris wrote together, and it fucking rocks. I'm just gonna be blatantly honest with you guys. We are all so proud of this thing, and I cannot wait to actually make it. Who knows? Maybe you'll see it somewhere else other than just YouTube. I don't know. But there's another external factor here as to why I'm just not going to be uploading that much for the rest of the month. My father recently had hip surgery, and the dude can barely walk. I'm trying to make sure that this time of him healing just goes really smoothly here. So I'm trying to allocate the majority of my time towards that, but it is very tough when you're in the middle of directing a short film and running a YouTube channel like this. I greatly appreciate your support more than ever, and I'm gonna try to put at least something out a week. If it's a live stream, a review video, like I'll definitely be reviewing Abigail. That'll be the next video you see on this page, probably next Friday, but I don't know if I can do anything else besides that. I really appreciate your guys' patience, and I promise you things will go back to normal in May, but as of right now, oh my god, I am swamped. I don't even have time to make this video, if I'm being honest. I feel like it's only fair to keep you guys in the loop. I don't want to just stop uploading, like that would fucking suck, right? We'll be back to the weird theory videos and a bunch of crazy updates here very shortly. Subscribe to this page right now or I will pee all over your pillows. You heard me, ladies and gentlemen. Piss in your pillows. You do not want to put your head in that at night. I gotta go too, man. I've been recording for 45 minutes. My bladder's full. Thank you all for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.